The city throughout the history of mankind has been the meeting place of people and the central location for a significant percentage of historical events. Much of the culture of mankind has happened in the city. According to Danish architect Jan Gehl, first we shape the cities and then they shape us. Hence, planning of the city is a very important aspect for a good and well functioning city. Hello everyone, I'm Aditya here and in this video I'll be going through the process of preparing a city development plan. Before going through the plan formulation process, it is important to know the contents of the city development plan. Firstly, it is important to know the background concepts and principles of the city development plan as an introduction. As of city profile, location, geography, and profile of the city are the aspects which are to be considered. Moving on, approach and vision and mission statement, along with the development of goals and strategies, are important factors for city vision and development of goals and strategies. Moving on to one of the most important aspects of the city development plan, the demographic profile. It is important to note that the current demographic trends, spatial spread, and population density are playing an important role in planning of public places. Composition of population growth is an important factor for infrastructure and along with literacy rate and gender ratio. Social composition and income distribution play an important role in planning the city in terms of transportation and infrastructure. Following factors play a major role in determining the land management and urban growth. At first, we have existing city development. Second, we have morphological development of city. Third, existing land usage. Fourth, unauthorized and unorganized colonies. Fifth, urban villages. Sixth, industrial development. Seventh, ecologically sensitive areas. Eighth, land development and management. And ninth, effort of land development. The poor part of a large city near the center that often has a lot of social problems are referred to as an inner city. For city development plan formulation, it is important to know of its geographical area and the current problems present in it. Moving on to economic profile, it can be assessed in three different sectors, which are primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. Other than that, formal and informal sectors are also assessed in some cases. Workforce participation is an important factor for determining overall economic profile as it indirectly gives the ratio of current economic output to total possible economic output. Besides workforce participation, GDP and per capita income are two huge factors determining the city's economic profile and the required direction of growth. Next is the financial profile, which is determined through the following features. First, review and retainment of the existing fiscal and financial status. Second, status of current assets and liabilities. Third, overview of financial status of local authority and departments. Fourth, intergovernment transfer and the finances and local authority. Fifth, sources of revenue and expenditure stream. Moving on to infrastructure, it is analyzed and reviewed in two different categories: physical infrastructure and social infrastructure. Physical infrastructure involves reviewing the city water supply system, sewerage system, stormwater drainage, road network and transport system, solid waste management, and electricity. Whereas social infrastructure involves reviewing education, health facilities, other amenities such as amenities involving heritage, cultural, and spiritual values, and recreational spaces. Moving on to environment profile, it involves assessing water quality, air quality, noise pollution, and land pollution. Moving on to disaster management, it is achieved through through the following six steps. First, analyze the existing situation. Second, formulating disaster prevention and management plan. Third, calculating the investment estimates. Fourth, formulation of training and other programs. Fifth, creation of efficient information management system. And sixth, formulation of master implementation plan. In the end, we conduct SWOT analysis. Now, we will be moving to the process of preparing city development plan. First step of the city development plan is conducting the city assessment. The city assessment is conducted based on the following factors. The first factor is opportunities, which involves the assessment of present opportunities existing within the city and predicting the future opportunities which could arise, such as after some reformation of the city, it can be turned into a tourist attraction, which can lead to a source of revenue and employment. The second, third, and fourth categories, that is strength, weaknesses, and risk, along with the first, can be assessed together through SWOT analysis. The fifth factor is the unmet demand gap. This refers to disparity between supply and demand of goods and commodities within the city. This is an important economic indicator for a city. The city assessment is presented to and consulted by multiple stakeholders who invested in the formation of various sub-areas of the city. Following parameters are as demography, economic base, financial base, environment, infrastructure, institutions, and universalization of services, especially for economically weaker sections, are to be considered in this step. An image for factors and their respective indicators for efficient assessment of smart cities can be observed here. Moving on, the second step is the future perspective and vision, which involves assessment of the factors of direction of change and direction of expectations and planning according to them. Parameters to be considered and consultation of stakeholders are similar to the last step. Moving on to the third step, it involves the strategies for development. In this step, we have three major sub-steps, which are the formulation of options and strategies being the first. The second step is the link with reform agenda. The third step is criteria for prioritization. This step targets the following sectors and components, which are environment services, social infrastructure, urban renewal, slum improvement, housing for economically weaker sections, transportation, and road services for the urban poor. This image can be referred for four-phase city development plan strategy formulation. Moving on to the final step is the city investment plan and other financial alternatives. The investment planning process can be understood through this image. Basically, it involves five steps, which are identify financial goal and amount, analyze how much risk you can take, identify the time frame to reach that goal, identify financial products, lastly, monitor and review. City investment plan covers the following aspects as mentioned here. First, water supply. Second, sewerage system. Third, road network and transportation system. Fourth, stormwater drainage system. Fifth, solid waste management. Sixth, heritage conservation and management. Seventh, urban environment. Eighth, urban governance. Ninth, other development projects. Tenth, urban slums and poor. Next, we have the city development plan preparing process as mentioned under the URDPFI guidelines. Through this image, we can conclude that we have analyzed the city development plan preparing process in detail. Lastly, these are my references which I have used in this presentation. I thank you for viewing my presentation, and I would also like to conclude by quoting the economic development columnist for Governing magazine Aaron M. Wren. The mark of a great city isn't how it treats its special places. Everybody does that right, but how it treats its original ones.